I'm not sure about the rest of Ravens fans, but I'm having trouble getting to sleep thinking about how the Ravens manipulated this draft, how they got two top shelf players, regardless of what you think personally about Linderbaum and Kyle Hamilton. They clearly were the best two players at their position. Now, is Kyle Hamilton a free safety? Is he a strong safety? Is he a nickel safety? He's a little bit of everything for Notre Dame. He's definitely not a strong safety for the Ravens in 2022 because we have Marcus Williams. Wherever else he fits, I think will be dependent on game situation, down and distance, and the offensive personnel that's deployed. But let's do this. What now? Okay, or what's important now? And that's a saying that a really great coach that I was around and exposed to used to use all the time. What's important now? Something just happened, whether it was good, whether it was bad, whatever. What is important now? Obviously, the acronym is WIN. I believe the Ravens have set themselves up to win. And when I say win, I mean win it all. I think this step in the draft, first round, is something we can look back on and say, wow, that really was the ball or the stone being pushed down the hill first. The first push down the hill. And then as that ball gets rolling, it becomes something unstoppable as it's rolling downhill and gaining momentum and strength and speed. Look, I think the Ravens' options at 45 are tremendous. I don't think they're limited by, so many teams being in front of them. They're not late in the second round, but they're definitely not early. There's a hell of a lot of good players left out there in this draft, and we'll show them in a moment. In our Discord, we sat and talked for like 5 hours last night. Near the end, one of the guys that's in the Discord, he posted something up with basically what players are remaining here for the Ravens to possibly target. Generally, trying to keep it focused on the positions the Ravens need or the ones we think they need. So outside linebacker, wide receiver, maybe D tackle, inside linebacker was another one. I'm not sure where you guys are on inside linebacker, but obviously there's a guy out there named Nakobe Dean who I did not have as my top linebacker in the class, but I certainly did not think he was going to fall completely out of the first round. So let's do this. Let's take a look at the players that are available. So this is our Discord, and Walter was kind enough to type it up there and give the names of the players that are available right now. And I think anything is possible, just like anything was possible in the first round. And the Ravens front office had to be able to adjust depending on who was there at 14. Same thing's going to apply at 45. But I do agree with a lot of people in the comments section of my reaction video that it's possible the Ravens trade up. It's entirely possible that they trade up utilizing 45 or 76. Or I'll give you another one. It's possible the Ravens move back up in the second round by using draft picks from next year and a fourth rounder. Fourth rounder this year and a third rounder next year could possibly get us back into the second round again. And when I say get us back in, I mean somewhere in the 50-55 range. Look, there's guys out there at the edge defender that hasn't been addressed yet that, if you ask me, can give us a pretty reasonable facsimile to what Jermaine Johnson's likely to do. Arnold Ebiketie is a hell of a football player. Hell of a football player. Boy Mafe, a great football player. David Ojabo, obviously with the injury, but he may be able to step in and give you, when he does become healthy, he may be able to step in and give you more than Jermaine Johnson can in terms of a pass rush. Jalen Petre, Andrew Booth, Kyler Gordon, some really talented DBs. Defensive line guys, Travis Jones, Logan Hall, DeMarvin Lee, multiple guys. The Ravens are going to they're going to have great options at 45. If you're asking me what my opinion would be, I would like to see who's there at 45. I do not think Alec Pierce, let me rephrase that. Alec Pierce will be there at 45. So will a George Pickens. Those guys will be there at 45. Can I guarantee they'll be there at 76? So if the Ravens don't go receiver at 45, man, who is available at 76 becomes drastically different. I do love that we did not trade away 45 or 76 to get back into the first round. I thought that was pure genius. We didn't trade away future draft picks. I do think, and I want to mention this, I think it's possible that the Ravens are going to trade away a future draft pick from next year in order to get back in the second round, and that might be related to the reason why they utilized Marquise Brown to get pick 23 from the Cardinals. But, Marquise Brown was leaving anyway. My point is, for my overall impression of pick 45, to be honest with you, is that the Ravens will not use it on receiver. I believe that if the Ravens use 45, it will be on someone like Arnold Ebiketie, Leo Chenal. Now, we do have Josh Bynes signed for the next year. Malik Harrison supposedly is moving to edge defender, so maybe the Ravens would not go inside linebacker. Maybe they go D-tackle. Logan Hall is a very versatile player. He plays in a 3 technique, plays in a 5 technique, can play a 4-eye just like everybody else in college does now in the tight front. Some of those corners that are there, Andrew Booth, Kyler Gordon, I'm not too sure the Ravens are going to take a corner at this point. I feel like our defensive backfield is really, really exceptional right now. If everybody's healthy, and I mean Marcus Peters and Marlon Humphrey, and you combine them with Marcus Williams, Brandon Stevens, now Kyle Hamilton, Chuck Clark, I feel like the Ravens have a spectacular defensive backfield. Are we set up to play as much man-to-man as Wink Martindale played in the past? No, absolutely not. We're not. We are not set up to do that. But I think that'll also be a game situation thing and a matchup thing. Depending on who we're facing, we may or may not have the ability to match up man-to-man with them in terms of defending, good slot receivers. If Marlon Humphrey stays on the outside and Marcus Peters returns to full health and he's outside on the left as typical in his career, who is our slot corner defender against good receivers? Is it Brandon Stevens? Is it Kyle Hamilton? I'm not sure. Clearly the defensive staff in the front office has confidence in Kyle Hamilton because they drafted him at 14. I do think it's interesting to note that he was originally projected to be a top 5 pick, fell all the way to 14, presumably because of his workout and his speed time. But if you watch his film, as Edgar Allan pointed out in a video he released late last night, Kyle Hamilton plays with a lot of speed, plays downhill, not really concerned about it. Now, if you were interested in the Ravens improving the offensive line, there's still guys out there. Darian Kennard from Kentucky has not been drafted yet. Daniel Falele has not been drafted yet. Bernard Rahman, the older guy who's a foreign football player, has not been drafted yet. There's guys out there. Will they be gone by 45? I'm not sure. At this point, I don't know that the Ravens are going to go O-line again. They've addressed the O-line from the inside out with Tyler Linderbaum, and in my opinion, they're going to go with best player available at a position where we have a need. Does that best player available include edge outside linebacker? I'm not sure that it does. But if it does, Arnold Ebiketie looks like a great choice. He may not be there at 45. Bowie Mafe and multiple other guys as well. To me, the guy that I would like to see is Josh Paschal because he has positional versatility. And like someone mentioned on Twitter earlier this week, he reminds me of Pernell McPhee in that he can play on the outside on run downs, first and second down, and on third down when you need a pass rush situation, he can kick down to a 3 technique if you've got to get certain guys off the field. I think the Ravens are in spectacular position. I do not anticipate the Ravens trading pick 45 to move. If we did trade anything to move back up above 45 or in the 50 to 55 range, I think it will be 76 and a third rounder next year. I think next year's first rounder at this point is probably untouchable unless they have plans for it to try to acquire DK Metcalf. Don't panic because we traded away a receiver and our receiver room looks thin, quote unquote, based on production. A lot of people have been clamoring for more snaps and more opportunities for James Prochet. Where are y'all right now? Where are you guys at right now? Because if some of you that have been asking for more reps for James Prochet, if you're out there right now talking about the depth of our wide receiver room, you're being a hypocrite. You should be out there right now saying, finally, thank you. Prochet gets his opportunity. I'm kind of in the middle. Do I think James Prochet is a starting wide receiver in the NFL right now for a Super Bowl team? Maybe not. Do I think he's potentially a really good slot receiver in 11 personnel groups for the Ravens? Yeah, I absolutely do. Would I be okay? My prediction for tomorrow in the end for round 2 and then moving into round 3 is Josh Paschal and Alec Pierce or George Pickens and then someone like a Josh Paschal if he falls to 76. But I think it's entirely possible that the Ravens move back up into the 50 to 55 range. I'm not exactly sure who that is, to be honest with you, in terms of what team we would trade with. In that case, a guy like Alec Pierce would definitely be available. I think it's a pretty unique situation that the Ravens have already addressed the DB group. They've already addressed the offensive line. And the wild card in all of this, and names that are not mentioned up there at all, is the tight end group. Not a single tight end was drafted in the first round last night in 2022. And at some point, someone's going to have to start drafting these tight ends. I think the guy from UCLA is a hell of an option if he's available at 45, and the Ravens feel like the outside linebacker edge position is not as big of a need as other people believe it to be, or the Ravens think they've got it addressed through free agency or bringing back guys like McPhee and Justin Houston for one more run. Let me know what you guys think of the Ravens draft last night. I thought it was tremendously exciting and encouraging to see them adjust to who was available at 14. And let me know what you think of some of my thoughts about how the Ravens are going to proceed in the second and third round Friday night. Consider joining us in our Discord. We'll be up in there for probably the entirety of the draft situation. I don't know how you feel about it, but I really can't wait to see what DeCosta, Ozzie Newsome, and the rest of the front office have in store for us tomorrow night.